Hey, everybody. Thanks for hopping in real quick on another segment of Jake's Takes. Some big news. Obviously, TJ Finley commits to Auburn from the transfer portal, and really want to go into depth on who that affects, how it affects Bo Nix, how it affects Demetrius Davis, what it means for the Auburn offense, what it means for the Auburn team overall, and adding some depth to that room and increasing the competition. But first, do got to shout out betonline.ag. Head over there today. The online casino is always open. Incredible stuff. Also, if you like parlays, teasers, pleasers, whatever, they've got it. They're going to play the spread early. They're going to give you the sharps. They're not going to wait around. It's great stuff. That's betonline.ag. Head over there today and tell them that Jboy sent you. But again, big news, something we put out a prediction 4 or 5 days ago. I think this has been done for a couple days as well. TJ Finley going to Auburn, and what does it mean? Number one, it's a big pickup for Auburn for a couple reasons. It gives you more depth in the quarterback room. We all know that Bo Nix is leader in the clubhouse, most likely going to be the starter. I don't think that TJ Finley will usurp Bo Nix as the starter at Auburn. I think this is a play for down the road. I think TJ Finley saw an opening in that room in between Bo Nix and true freshman Demetrius Davis. And I do want to say I think Demetrius Davis is going to be a damn good quarterback at Auburn before it's said and done. I do not think he will transfer after this. He didn't leave after the staff that recruited him got fired. I think he's a guy that wants to compete, and he's going to stick around. But if you look what TJ Finley, from a room perspective, what it gives you. The biggest winner may be Bo Nix in this. It puts a little pressure on Bo Nix. And Bo Nix is the type of guy, just from knowing him and talking to him and kind of knowing the way he operates, he kind of embraces this. He kind of embraces the competition. And typically, just like anything, a good coach, you look at Nick Saban, you look at Kirby Smart, you look at Jimbo Fisher, what are you trying to create in each one of your rooms? Whether it's the wide receiver room, the quarterback room, the running back room, you're trying to create competition. Because when you don't have anybody looking, when you're not looking over your shoulder at anybody, not that you don't work hard, but it tends to take your game to the next level. So I think this is big for Bo Nix. But TJ Finley, when you now look at the scope of the Auburn room, he was a true freshman last year. So now you've got a guy in Bo Nix that's going to be a junior. You've got a true sophomore in TJ Finley, and you've got a true freshman quarterback that's most likely going to redshirt. It's the best thing that could happen to him in Demetrius Davis. So you really just evened out your quarterback room. And again, you don't know if injuries are going to happen. Bo Nix could get hurt. Don't wish injuries on anybody. He could have an unbelievable year and leave early. You never know until it happens on the field. So now you're not having to rely on not just a young guy, because even after a redshirt year, Demetrius Davis would be a young guy, but who's going to be behind Demetrius Davis other than another true freshman in Holden Gariner that's already committed? So you've added experience for the next year and the year after that, and you've made the transition in that quarterback room a whole heck of a lot easier on the coaches, a whole heck of a lot easier on the personnel around them, and that's what you want to do as a head coach. I'm going to get to TJ Finley's game, kind of what he brings, what kind of quarterback he is, because he's a great fit for this Auburn offense if you look at him. But I do want to talk about Bo Nix for a second, and I talked about the competition and all that stuff. Bo Nix is going to be the starter for Auburn this year. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. And again, I'm not saying that crazier things haven't happened, but I am 99% sure that Bo Nix is going to be the starter at Auburn this year. This will push him a little bit, but this is a safe play down the road. I think the biggest winner in all of this outside of TJ Finley is Bo Nix. I know that may be a crazy take to some. Some people think, oh, TJ Finley's coming in to take Bo Nix's spot. And anything can happen, but the odds of that happening, especially when you come in this late, it'd be different if you were here in January, if you went through the spring with the new staff, all that. But coming in during the summer, especially at that position, not that TJ Finley can't learn it, not that he can't learn the terminology or doesn't understand, the play calls and stuff like that, but you have to get a feel for it. You have to get a rhythm of what the offensive play caller is calling. And even Bo Nix right now has not played a snap in a game against another team with Mike Bobo / Ryan Harsin calling the plays. When you look at what Bo Nix can bring from a competitor standpoint, this helps Auburn. Because if you're Brian Harsin, you're Mike Bobo, you're Will Friend, whoever, your goal in this transfer portal was to pinpoint different spots where you can make the roster better. Now, they do need a wide receiver. They do need an offensive lineman, and there's one guy you need to keep an eye on, I'm going to say at the end. All right? But TJ Finley, the player, let's talk about him. Last year, got experience as a true freshman. Some good, some bad. Surprise. That's what you get with true freshman quarterbacks in the SEC. It's very rarely that a true freshman quarterback comes in and it's just going to be great every game or maybe only have one bad game. You look at his interception touchdown rate, it was 5 and 5, threw for some yards. But what I like about TJ Finley is you have different types of quarterbacks. All right, a lot of guys can throw the ball a long way. A lot of guys can throw the fastball. But being 6'6", as big as TJ Finley is, he also has touch, and that's rare. It's not a, hey, I can throw the vertical 80 yards or I can throw the fastball in there on the slant. He can lollipop the slip screen. He can throw the fade. He can drop it in the bucket. But he can also throw the fastball and throw the whole shot. And that keeps a defense honest. You cannot prepare for one throw. He can make all the throws to the field. That's huge against zone coverage teams, especially teams that run a lot of quarters. Whether you're talking about Sale, and you look at the ability, dual threat ability. He's not a great runner. That's not what TJ Finley is. But he does move good enough to be somewhat effective. He's a big guy. He's hard to bring down. But he is a very natural thrower of the football. You look at some of the suitors. Alabama reached out. Don't know how serious that got. Texas was interested. Houston, Penn State, go down the list. These people wouldn't be interested if TJ Finley didn't have a chance to be a really good quarterback. I think a year behind Bo Nix in this system, getting some playing time in certain games, which I think you will see him early because it should be 2 blowouts in the first 2 games. You're going to see him running with that second team, may even get some first team reps depending on how they want to do it. But TJ Finley's game really translates in this offense as well. In a drop back, play action, being able to sit in the gun, get a couple steps, launch it. It fits. This isn't a sprint out every time, or he's having to sit there and run the zone read every time. They're going to run mid zone with Tank. They're going to run outside zone. You're going to get some gap scheme. But his game really fits this offense. I think that's one of the biggest reasons that he chose Auburn. I think him and Mike Bobo could work well together once Bo Nix's time is done. So it's really a win across the board. They do need another offensive lineman. Keep an eye on Gavin Olson. He's a guy that's been in the portal a while, 6'9", 330 from Harvard. No, not Eric Wilson. Gavin Olson can move, has pretty decent feet. And if there's not a better tackle that pops in the portal here soon, I think Auburn may end up pulling the trigger on this guy. And if they do, that would add a big piece. They still need more. You look at wide receiver, there's a few that are going to hit the portal hills here soon that they're going to have a chance at. So again, Brian Harson's done a really good job in the transfer portal. You just submitted your quarterback room, and that's what you had to do. You went and got a guy that not only can help you now if he has to, if there's an injury, or he may come in and something crazy may happen if he just turns into some stellar guy. Because he reminds me of Cardale Jones. That's who he reminds me of, if you really want to know. He reminds me of Cardale Jones. That's kind of the mold that I see. So it's a big pickup for Auburn. Any questions, comments down below? Tell me, do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think he's going to start it for Bo Nix? I know a lot of you do. I know a lot of you aren't huge Bo Nix fans. I just don't see it. Make sure you subscribe on our YouTube channel, The Jboy Show, obviously, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We got great merchandise like this sick gray hoodie. They're great price. You're not going to get $50 t-shirts and $60 hoodies, and that's all at thejboyshow.com. So make sure you check that out. We're going to keep bringing you updates around the SEC from the transfer portal. There's some more big moves coming. This thing is not over by any stretch of the imagination. We appreciate you checking us out, and make sure you catch all of our archive videos, whether that's on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. It doesn't matter. We just appreciate you listening. We're trying to take this thing over. We'll talk soon.